Hello, everyone. Let's review some news hits from the session performed on September 1st at 10 a.m. Let me get the drawing up here. So we see we've got an obelisk makes the news. We've got gears and a timepiece, kind of a flywheel thing here put together. If you can make out my doodles. Here's a lake cabin, something found in the lake. This is a structure. I was looking around the structure. I could see both the side of the structure and this lake. And then the terrain was just kind of it was flat, boring, no trees, just terrain, pretty flat. And we'll review these as I bring up some of the news articles here. So we also had money bank and lending institution crack crumbles. Good hit on this one. Pay particular attention to the shape here. There was something about Boris Becker, and I wrote, is he dying? I've got to stop doing that. I'm always wondering why they're making the news, and so I start guessing. So most of the time I put a question mark. Typically I'm wrong. So Boris Becker makes the news. Down here at the bottom we have warships firing. They look like they were U.S. warships, or made by the U.S. anyway. Cannons. Right below that it says Indian Ocean. There it is. Kind of cut off there for you. Okay, over on the right we have what is that, a yacht at Lake Michigan. There's another question mark. A fire. This is interesting. It's not a great hit, and I'll show you the news article that came up for it. But this is the one that's this is a big hit here. I saw a U.S. map with ripples, waves coming across it from east to west, like sound waves or a giant earthquake moving the land up and down. Seemed more topical. Seemed to stop about mid-U.S. Is that a solar flare? Um, and actually, I'll go ahead and say it right now. This question mark is actually right. It is going to be a solar flare, and it did happen, and I'll show you the news article that covers that. Something falls at the U.S. Capitol, dust and debris. This was a complete miss. Nothing came up for that. So, and the last thing was Pelosi's retirement talk. Something in the news about her retiring, and Chuck Schumer quit something. So let me go back to the beginning here, and we'll start off with timepiece. Let's go look at that timepiece article. Where are you? Timepiece article. No. Let's see. Sorry. It's like I've already closed it or something. Oh, good grief. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Very beginning. Here we go. So, and this is the history. The National Geographic article is about a master of the grandfather clock reveals time's hidden history. If you look, scroll down here. By the way, this is September 1, 22. So it must have been pretty much the same time I was doing my session. Could have been later in the day. Could have been earlier in the day. I don't know. Look at the pictures, though. You see some gears. You're going to see a lot more here. There's a whole box full of them. If you look closely, you can see these gears assembled together like a timepiece. So that was a good hit. And yeah, so pretty good one there. So let's go back to the drawing. Let's move on to the obelisk. Let's look at that obelisk article. Honestly, it's pretty boring. But Egypt Today is talking about an obelisk over there. So if you're Egyptian, that probably means a lot to you. It means something to you anyway. So that made the news. Let's go back to, let's go and look at this yacht, Lake Michigan. I wrote fire, yacht, and then I drew a boat on fire in a body of water there, question mark, Lake Michigan. So I only looked at Lake Michigan because that's what I wrote. So what I came up with was fire being rescued from a sinking boat in Lake Michigan. So you got Lake Michigan, you got a boat, you got fire, not on fire. And frankly, I think there are other boat-related articles and other lakes, like Lake Huron, Lake Erie, even that may be better hits. But But you can see how when I get words, I try to draw a picture, a scene of what's in my head, and that's when imagination kicks in. So I wrote fire, but I didn't say on fire. So that could come out in any number of ways. So let's go back to the drawing. I've kind of written an order for these. Let's look at this lake cabin. Something found in the lake. That says water, that says hill, that says structure. And yeah, like I said before, I was peeking around the corner of the structure and I could see the lake. I didn't see what was in the lake. It just came to me that something is in the lake. And so news article is here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, there you are. So you can see these structures around the lake. See how flat the terrain is, how it kind of just eases on into the water. There's no cliff face. It just gradually descends into the water. That's kind of what I was seeing. It's almost like I was peeking around one of these houses looking into the lake. You see the article, the title is the body of a missing student found in Orlando Lake. Updated on the 17th. Hope you can't hear that. It always autoplays. Anyway, pretty good hit there. Let's go to let's go to number 5 here. Boris Becker. Boris Becker dying? No, but Boris Becker did make the news. So let's go to U.S. Sun on September 3rd. Mother of fallen tennis star Boris Becker. He was jailed for tax evasion or something a while ago. Anyway, he's making the news. He's not being a good son, essentially. Let's go back to the document here. For 6, how about those warships? Warships firing cannons in the Indian Ocean. They look U.S., like U.S. made kind of a thing. So let's take a look here. Iran will join naval drills in the Indian Ocean with Russia and China. So apparently I don't really know my warships, so they're not going to look U.S. made. I wouldn't think. I don't know where Iran gets their stuff, but pretty sure the other two are not going to be buying from the U.S. So anyway, that's a pretty good hit. Let's go back to the drawing. Something falls at the U.S. Capitol. Like I said before, like nothing came up in the news for that. Let's try some retirement talk with Pelosi and Schumer. Representative Josh Hawley says he's got nothing against Congress, against aging congressional leaders, but wants Pelosi to move on. That sounds like retirement to me. Here I've highlighted it. He wants her to formally call it quits. He didn't use the word retirement, but that is the topic of the day, I believe. So anyway, that's a pretty good hit. We look at, there's more here somewhere. There's another article about Pelosi and Schumer. I wrote Schumer quits something. And so we have Schumer, we have quit, and then the topic is about quitting the delays. So it's a pretty good hit. I mean, I was hoping he would, personally I was hoping he'd quit a lot more than that, but it is what it is. The last thing, probably the biggest one, is this U.S. map. The waves that rippled across. I saw a U.S. map. I didn't see the terrain. I saw just the states assembled together on a printed map. And I saw this wave of, it was an invisible wave, you know, like air or steam or radio waves even, something like that moving across the top of it. I could just barely see that there are waves there at all. It was nearly transparent. So if we look to the news, we will have a big long discussion about the 1859 Carrington event showed up in livescience.com. Again, I wrote, like sound waves or a giant earthquake moving the land up and down, seems more topical, seems to stop mid-USA. Is it a solar flare? Question mark. So yes, indeed, it was a solar flare, and it was this happened a long time ago, and they're always talking about the next one to come up. I've highlighted this section here because it spoke about mid U.S. states and locations. So Missouri could see something going on at night, but so could people in the Rocky Mountains. So there's really nothing west of there, and so those giant waves or whatever seem to stop right in the middle of the U.S. So I think it's a big hit there. And I suppose that's it. The news for October is out. If you haven't seen that, you might want to take a peek at that just to see. Maybe you can help me find the news articles that apply to the hits. This takes a bit of time to hunt these things down.